Welcome to the 19th episode of the Animal Riot Podcast, brought to you by Animal Riot Press, a literary press for books that matter. It's your producer, Katie, here, and this episode has been edited to reflect our new name. If you're new to the Animal Riot community, welcome, and you can find out more about us at animalriotpress.com. Now on to the episode with your host, Brian Birnbaum, and today's guests, Bud Smith and Devin Kelly.
I'm your host, Brian Birnbaum. We're here today with Devin Kelly, known amongst the known as the OR, the original rabbit, a fantastic writer of both prose and he's got a full-length book of poems, Blood on Blood, with Unknown Press, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's the one with Unknown. And you have one with CCM?
Yep.
Is that the one you did with Bud?
The Blood on Blood is the one I did with Bud.
Okay.
It's right. It's
So
on
I'm
the table.
conflating.
It's on the table right now.
Okay,
Bud's
cool.
Looking at it.
Great.
It looks so good.
You're not allowed to talk yet, Bud, because I haven't introduced you. You don't exist yet.
Okay.
Yes, so Blood on Blood, Unknown Press, and he's written other things of a quality that supersedes the ever-shifting bar of literary expectation, I guess. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds great.
Okay, great. We're also very fortunate to have Bud Smith coming all the way across the Hudson. Bud is the author of Teenager, Double Bird, and Work. Work is the only one on your site that I found, though.
Oh,
the
my
hell's
site?
up with that?
I have a site?
You have a site, man.
I was trying to delete that. I guess I didn't click all the
Fucked
buttons
up, man.
right.
I found you. That's why you're here.
Okay.
And he's written a bunch of other shit that's also really good. He's got a great newsletter, too. Bud works heavy construction and destroying chemical plants, refineries, and generating stations.
Yes.
That's an incredible set of work that falls under the purview of work. Okay, but more than anything, Bud is a super chill dude, and any enemy of Bud's is a necessarily unhealthy person with a twisted outlook on life. Okay, so the last thing I'll say to introduce you is so you don't even know that your site exists. Do you know that a quote from Scott McClanahan exists about you?
Yeah.
So
I know about the quote, yeah.
So Scott McClanahan wrote Crapalachia, which is like one of the fucking greatest books I've ever read.
It's an amazing book,
yeah, so good. Devin told me about that book. Of Bud, Scott says, Bud Smith is one of the only writers I don't mind hanging out with in real life. I've seen Bud sober and I've seen Bud drunk. He's great either way. That's fucking perfect.
Pretty true.
Okay. All right, I'm almost done here. This episode's brand of fuckery is brought to you by, you guessed it, a new research chemical, adrafinil, which I've consumed today. Adrafinil is a prodrug for modafinil, meaning your body converts it from the former into the latter in your liver, and is,
What is it?
I don't
What
know.
did
It's
it?
like a.
What did it?
It's like a stimulant that's like a rung below Adderall, I guess.
I was gonna ask what it did to you today.
It made me focus.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
Focus is good.
Yeah.
That's just like a legal thing you can just buy.
Yeah, you can
somewhere.
buy it. It's like on Nootropics Depot. I shouldn't be pumping this shit. The Nootropics community is gonna come. They're gonna come for me. Yeah. Speaking of whacking, the first thing we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about a story that has nothing to do with your writing.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. What do you want to know?
Yeah. Who's this dude's name? He was a crime boss mayor.
Yeah. The other day, I went and visited the grave of Frank Hague, who is the guy
Hague?
who built Hague.
Hague.
Yeah. I say Hague.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think,
Hog?
the Hague?
No, Hague is right.
Conventions?
I was just trying to get the spelling right.
Yeah. H-A-G-U-E.
So he was a peacemaker and then a mob boss.
Well, I'm not gonna say he wasn't a mob
No,
boss.
no,
he was
I'm
the
just-
mayor.
yeah.
He was the mayor of Jersey City. I think he got elected like 1909 or something like that.
He's old.
By the time,
like Boardwalk Empire times.
yeah.
back
I think
in
there's a
those days.
character on Boardwalk Empire. That's him.
Okay, perfect.
But he's
all of them.
Yeah, he became the mayor, and he drew like a really low salary, but he died with like $9 million in the bank. Or something. He was taking just so many bribes and kickbacks.
Nah, man, he invested wisely.
And he ran all the gambling, like all the numbers that were ran out of Jersey City. He ran all that stuff. So there's like a few really great books about him and what he's done. But anyway, my building is called The Hague. He built it in 1919. And yeah, I don't know. He's just like this looming figure around Jersey City. That if you live there long enough, you go, I'll go to the public library and I'll go walk to the bathroom and he'll just be like a cryptic oil painting of Frank Hague, like right next to
Frank Hague. I'm literally just gonna look up
Is
Boardwalk
he,
Empire.
He's in your.
I think he is in it.
But is there a plaque for him in the place you live now?
Yeah.
That's why you.
There's a picture when you walk in.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen it.
yeah.
Looks
He's
like
in
a
Boardwalk.
Cooperstown bust. Like he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he
is?
He's standing there looking really
I
ominous.
caught the
Yeah.
end of that.
He's standing there looking really ominous, and the little tagline underneath him is "I am the law."
Oh, geez.
Because-
And that's in
Oh
your
my
apartment
God.
building.
yeah, because he used to scream that at like political rallies of
Dude, my blood is
back in the
curdling.
30s.
I love it.
And when FDR got elected, a lot of the votes, the East Coast votes were delivered. Frank Hague had something to do with that. And he got a huge kickback from the government. He built this giant ass hospital right down the street from where we live.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
A
rinse the
maternity
block
ward.
and build it.
Yeah.
That's the Kendrick Lamar way. I love it.
I mean,
so he is
Keep talking about.
he is on Boardwalk Empire.
No way.
He is.
Yeah.
He's played by Chris Mulkey. Not really familiar, but yeah, I didn't remember. I watched that show like 5 years ago or something. So
Yeah, he's an really interesting guy.
I had a great uncle who was a priest. Have I told you this? Right by where you live now,
I think so. Yeah,
at a church, St. Aloysius Church in Jersey City.
yeah. I think that one is one of the giant ones.
Yeah, it's very big. I used to go. I used to go stay there to visit him.
What,
Because
like the seminary house or something?
Yeah, because he was ostensibly he was my dad's uncle, but my grandfather on my dad's side died when I was young, and so he was sort of like a weird. He was
He's not
awesome.
weird, yeah.
He was
He's
he's a
awesome.
great
He's
dude.
awesome,
Yeah, he was an awesome grandfather.
was he mobbed up?
I don't know, but it was like my only conception of Jersey City, where Bud lives now, was when I was very little, and we would go visit my great uncle before going to catch a Yankees game. We'd do like a weekend up from DC.
Oh yeah. from
And we
DC.
would stay at the seminary on like a Friday night. We'd drive up Friday night and we'd get pizza in Jersey City at this place that had like a Pac-Man arcade thing and those orange sort of like lacquered booths, the pizza parlor kind of booths.
Okay.
And my great uncle would walk with us, and he had like a derby hat, and he would wear the collar, and he was like
the ascot, like the scarf collar.
No.
You mean like the claw,
the priest collar, the
priest
black collar with the
Okay.
white. The
I know,
little
he's going to
square,
tracks or
the square
something,
of white, and he was like a 6 foot tall, very thin man. People we would pass people in the street, and they would say, like, "Hi, Father Kelly, how are you?" As a kid, I loved that. I thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And
It
then-
is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
And he would like do a little sign of the cross sometimes. It was badass.
He's channeling God.
Yeah.
That's serious. That's awesome. So yeah, is any of that culture still involved in like construction? Like, do you see it at all?
Oh, mob stuff?
Yeah.
No,
It's
I don't
pretty
think
much
so.
gone. Yeah.
Mob stuff is gone. Mob stuff
Yeah.
seems like it was. It disappeared with as soon as the internet really came around.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, doesn't see I don't know anybody who has to do like who owns a store who gives kickbacks anymore. Any of that
Yeah.
stuff. I've never seen any like muscling being done or anything. It seems like
Yeah.
it's long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
I think like up here in Harlem, there are definitely like bodegas that I'm like, you guys wouldn't be here if you guys weren't fronting something, But that's all speculation.
Well,
you know
drugs
what I mean?
or whatever. That's
They're everywhere, right?
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like some centralized like 5 family shit anymore.
who knows? But it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to me. I've never came across that.
Yeah.
You ever really live in New York or in Jersey City?
Yeah.
Whether I'm just blind to it or whatever, but
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah. Well, New York City is also it's like a city of people doing what they need to do to live.
yeah,
And so you'll see, I find it fascinating in New York City. This has nothing to do with books.
Everything.
But
It's all
maybe it
connected.
does. But I find it fascinating in New York City how everything has how there's a subculture underneath everything, and so, there are just cultures that you don't understand that are happening underneath your feet in New York City that allow people you might not see every day to get a job or to own their restaurant or to run their bodega.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting.
I know as I get older, I realize how much money is on the black market. Not just I knew it abstractly before, but now it's I feel like I can see it more. I can recognize it more,
Sure.
And it's super interesting. But anyway, so Bud, how did you become a writer? Wow. When? How?
Gee.
I don't know. I used to do a
We're
lot
asking the
more. I
real
used to do a
questions
lot
here.
more things. When I was a little kid, I wrote and I liked to draw, and then as I got a little older, I still like to write and draw, and then play sports, and then, got a little older, and I'm doing all those things and started to play
What'd you
music.
play? What sports did you play?
Little kid sports.
T-ball.
Yeah, all the little kid sports, all the
Killer
typical
T-ball
ones.
player. Yeah.
And I just kept doing things and gaining different things I did. And by the time I was 20, I started to whittle down the things I was doing to, gave up on this, gave up on that. Until by the time I was about 30, I'd given up on everything but writing pretty much. And
It's either this or,
it was just focused primarily on the thing I like to do the best. So I pretty much have always done it since I was a kid, but have just got more serious into it and gave up other things I didn't enjoy as much up until the time I was about 30.
Yeah. One of the coolest things about you is like the subverting the idea that to be like a serious writer, you have to be like a serious person, or like there's a lot of people say that thing where it's like I take my work seriously but not myself. But and that can be kind of cliche, but also just like the way you approach it too. You're just not. I remember when we first met, like you would always kind of like poke fun of me a little bit about how cerebral I was and stuff like that. And I always wanted a little bit of what you had, just like, and I think I have like over the years, I think I've like come into it more. It's just like, oh, I'm sitting on the train. I got an idea. I'm just going to write some shit down,
Yeah. Well, we all change, I probably have become more cerebral since those days, and you've become less cerebral. It really doesn't matter how you
have, bud. You definitely have.
I think I have.
I think cerebral kind of guy.
Yeah.
Just like lost in my deeper thoughts.
What's been getting to you, man? What's going on? You want to talk about it?
No, I don't know. It seems hard to accumulate problems that are big enough to take seriously, even as like a person alive right now. I'm just like, everything seems terrible. I still don't kind of give a fuck. So
it's good. It's a good attitude to go about.
Yeah. I guess not really.
Yeah. I'm trying to when Brian was talking about you and your writing and when you were talking about the being 20 and the things, and then I was thinking about you used to build pools, right?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about isn't there a scene in F-250
Yep.
where the character is like, is he throwing garbage outside of college?
Yeah.
Right?
He was cleaning out a pond.
He's cleaning out a pond outside of college.
Yeah.
And
draining it out and cleaning all the
the
mud.
I don't know. I just thought about that.
Yeah, that's.
And like all the college students are coming by, and like they don't.
You're like an animal in the zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have to do that. Well, I didn't have to. That was my job. I built. I used to build
pools or the pond.
Both.
Oh, because you'd have to clean out something to.
Yeah, so sometimes you'd have to. You would. I did that job. It was a really great job. It's the first creative job I ever had. Where I would go to someone's house with boulders and stone, and I would build a waterfall on the edge of their pool. That was great. It was awesome.
Holy shit! You might have built my parents' pool when I was a kid.
Yeah, I probably did.
You probably did. Pool. Yeah.
But I worked for these people sometimes who would send me out to build these waterfalls, but then they would get like maintenance on cleaning out people's ponds, for closing them for the season, open them for the spring, and you'd have to drain it down with a pump, clean all the shit out of it, and then fill it back up with clean water. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
But
it's standing water.
Yeah. But it was just kind of one of those things, like, it was disgusting and terrible, but I did that because I really loved to build the waterfalls. I'd like to build the ponds. It was like the most money I could make doing creative work at the time. You kind of suffered doing the humiliating work to be able to do the creative side of it. So. And I still feel that happens in my life today.
Yeah. But you throw a party at the end of it, right?
You throw a party, yeah.
Yeah.
When I would do my my own side jobs, I would go to someone's house, and I would get them to give me money to do the pool. But I would let them know. I would say, well, the people I have come work with me are just. Because they would know it was like a side job. They were paying less than if they got a real company to do it. So they'd get me to do it. And I would say, well, it's going to look like you're having a party in your backyard. Because my friends all come here and they all help build the thing. Bid into the bid was always worked in a keg of beer. So I would have a keg of beer there, and me and my friends would just drink beer all day.
In the contract.
Well, that was like, it was, I would let them know up front. I said, there's going to be a keg of beer here. There's going to be a lot of people here.
Yeah.
I help them build this thing. so it's going to look like a party. And then they were always just like, anybody who's getting a pond built in their yard is even if they have money, is a little bit of a hippie weirdo. You can work on Wall Street and look like you're uptight, but as soon as I say there's going to be a party in your backyard, they're like, it's cool, man. Whatever you need to do, and it always was. I probably did like 12 of them like that, and it was always great. You take a part of the fence out, drive the pickup truck in the backyard, unload everything, and it would just look like mayhem.
It is a party.
It was a party.
It is a party. It's a building party
for like Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then usually it was done. And
damn.
It was pretty cool.
Friday night, Saturday. Would you stay? Would you work through the night?
You definitely didn't build
Friday
my
evening. Friday evening. No.
Friday evening, go home. Come back Saturday.
Let's come back Saturday. Come back Sunday.
Leave the keg
But
there.
a pond with a waterfall, or is just this, or sometimes they were separate?
Yeah, well, a pond and a waterfall, it really doesn't take much more than 3 days to build it.
Yeah. Okay.
A waterfall and a swimming pool, same thing, maybe 3 days.
Do you find that doing obviously you're doing the planning for a lot of this shit, right? You're not.
I used to. This was like 17 years ago.
So are you mainly doing like manual labor at this point still, or
that's all I was doing.
Yeah,
I was only, it was manual labor. I mean, it's as non-labor as using your mind to build something that looked good.
Right.
I mean, that there wasn't, there was no tools involved.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a level. I had a shovel, a wheelbarrow. And
I just think like a lot of writers are like, they talk about their day jobs like, oh fuck, I come home and I'm like soul sucked. I have no creative energy. Do you think working manually like prevents that from happening, or even might like fuel your, because like I don't know, you get some endorphins worked up or something or whatever, instead of sitting there all day in front of a screen. I don't know.
Usually, the people who you hear complaining about their jobs, it's like the squeaky wheel. You just hear them complaining. Their soul is sucked out. The people who love their jobs, they never talk about it.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what it is.
You're not just sitting around like talking to someone. I love my job. Yeah. People they're very happy. They just
go about the business.
Plus, there's like a social stigma to getting in everyone's face and telling them how great your life is.
Yeah.
So it's fine to sit there.
Unless you're on Facebook, that's where it's socially acceptable.
Yeah. But. Generally speaking, I don't think there is as many people who really, really hate their jobs as we think there are. I mean, probably half the population has the power just to go get a different job. You know what I mean? So if you don't like what you do, you can go do something else.
We'll fact check that. Katie, our producers, sorry, fact check that.
Well, half the population in this room. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah,
I'm not speaking for underprivileged people. Half the population of the five of us in this room.
Yeah, us fuckers. Devin, do you hate your job?
I love to teach.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No, I love to teach, and I wish that everyone who loves to teach can find a place where their love for teaching is also.
I tell you what,
loved.
Though, that's the worst part when you see people who really hate teaching. And they talk about how they talk shit about their students on social media, and that's these.
That sounds real counterintuitive.
It happens a lot.
These little fake plays that they put up on Twitter where it'll be like,
my student said this.
Look what this asshole said.
Yeah.
And it's like a little thing or like a little skit. It's like, why the fuck are you teaching?
Yeah. Damn, I actually don't. Maybe all of the people
I follow a lot of teachers. I wouldn't say that a lot of teachers do that, but I would say that it happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
And I mean, just as half the population in the world can get a better job. No,
but half the people in this room, if they were teachers,
but I will say that I think a large number of people who teach should not be teaching.
Yeah,
and I think that it's a weird profession because you don't have to go through as many because of the rise of in higher ed you need a book and a grad degree and for a charter school you need an undergrad degree. For a lot of places you don't need that much to teach. It's not like being a doctor where you have to go through fucking years of med school or be
I don't
a
think
lawyer.
It's a coincidence that I feel the same way about being a parent.
Yeah, and
you don't need to go to any school to be a parent.
Oh, and by the way, when I was saying before about I think you said get a better job. I don't even feel that. I feel like a job more suited for you.
Yeah.
Probably most of the time
paid less.
Paying less.
Yeah.
And socially lower on the ladder, but
Totally.
you have a better life Like,
Totally.
I joke around, a lot of people just saying, especially if I go to talk to a group of students about creative writing and at a college, and they're just excited, and then they want to talk to the guy who works construction, and how do you write and work construction, and my teachers, I'm in academia, I'm gearing up towards getting in academia, and I just say, well, you should get a job digging graves, because you'll probably make more money than especially adjuncts.
Yeah.
Go work in a cemetery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like people have got to be getting rid of the illusion that like teaching's like
dig graves
like the perfect
piecemeal.
way. Yeah.
Get paid per grave.
Because like you're not gonna get like, especially trying to get tenure or something. Otherwise, you're making a couple $1,000.
Bust your ass, swing that
semester.
pickaxe, get down there in that hole,
Yeah.
shovel faster. You know?
And that's why I asked you though, because like I feel like manual labor is so much. Because like I don't know, I just feel like it's less soul sucking. Like, but I do agree with you. It's like it depends who you are, right? Like
it depends on who you are. That's all. That's
Yeah.
all it comes down to. Of course, believe me, for plenty of people, it's soul sucking to do anything. You just got to find what you want to do. Which, good luck.
Yeah, it's tough.
Becoming more
Tough.
self-aware. That's pretty tough to figure out what who you actually are, what you actually like, what you actually don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not gonna figure that out until you're in your 70s, and then you got about
And then you got like
a year, 5. Yeah,
Well, if
year
you're
or
me,
two,
you're
5,
already
yeah.
done. You've
been dead for 10 years
been
by the
dead
time you're
for 10,
70.
15 years. Yeah, it's over.
But you figured it out. But you got it.
Up there in heaven.
Yeah,
I finally know what I like up
that's-
here in
there it is.
heaven.
No, that's why I ended it early. I figured it out.
This was it. I got here.
One thing I'm really interested in hearing about is you got a book coming out, Tyrant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I actually submitted to Tyrant.
Teenager.
Teenager is the title.
Teenagers, so it's called.
Teenager's title. But I want to talk a little bit about the book and what it is. But also, I'm just curious because like I think Giancarlo is such an interesting dude, and like I think he's so polarizing. But like from my brief experience with him, and like like what I hear about him, I think he sounds awesome to me.
Yeah,
but,
he's great.
Yeah, but yeah. So what's the book and like what's it been like working with him and stuff like that?
Well, working with Gian's been great. He's like all the guys I know in real life. The guys I work with. You just talk to him and get a straight answer about things.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems to just to say what he's going to say, and it's great.
Yeah,
It's great. And work with him as an editor has been really wonderful too, because he's so relaxed.
Which I think is like not some like the people that might fall on the other side of like not preferring him or whatever. Like I feel like they have an opposite conception of him. Well, it's like that's not the case, right?
Yeah, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't even know.
I'm kind of just going off Twitter fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who knows with that stuff?
Like, I don't have direct experience.
Yeah.
I thought my interactions with him were great, and like,
no,
and also
great.
just the things I've heard about him. He kind of seems like a hedonist, and I'm a hedonist too. So
Yeah, I don't even know about that. He's just a good guy. A hedonist, or I wouldn't even call you a hedonist.
I'm
you're just a
definitely.
good guy. You think so?
I don't think hedonist is bad.
No,
You know what I mean? Like I think being a hedonist is okay.
Yeah.
It's like as well you take it too far, but
Who's some other hedonists?
In the world?
Michael Douglas, maybe.
so many of us.
The hedonists of the world?
Charlie
Sheen.
Sheen. Yeah, he's a hedonist.
Oh, okay.
Hedonist is
writers?
is pleasure above all else, right?
Yeah, it's the pursuit.
Yeah.
It's the
No,
constant pursuit
I
of
wouldn't
pleasure.
say. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that anybody is really too much like that in real life. Maybe you are.
I am.
You are.
The guy in
It's relative. It's relative. Like
have you read The Stranger by Camus?
yeah.
I think the guy in The Stranger is kind of hedonistic.
Is he?
He just
I read
likes
that book a
likes
very
the
long
sun
time.
a lot, which is beautiful, and like he
Oh, if you like the sun, you're a hedonist.
yeah.
I almost
If
feel
you
like
stare
that's
at
more
the
like
sun,
naturalist.
yeah,
That's closer to
yeah.
like thorough
No,
or some
I mean-
shit. Like
Sun makes him do things.
Okay.
Yeah.
he has a strong
The
reaction.
sun,
to
I
the
think, is
sun.
why he kills somebody in this
Kills
book.
an Arab.
Yeah, which is yeah.
Hedonistic.
I take it back.
That's what
I
we'll call,
take
that's
it
what we'll
back.
call it from now on.
Yeah.
No, but Gian's great. It was really great working with him. The editing, it was really chill, and just I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to work with somebody who's not worried about something going too far. Instead, you get you get edits back, or hey, why don't we go a little farther with this?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
that's cool.
contrary to my experience with most editing up to now. But
Are you still writing the book?
yeah, we're still doing the edits. We've been editing it really, really slow. I think I gave him my last round of edits sometime around Christmas. We haven't really gotten back. I'm expecting a FedEx package of the the edit. He's sending it
Oh,
from Italy.
I love it. Fuck track changes. I love it.
Yeah, no, we're not
That's
doing track
awesome.
changes. So he's going to send the manuscript marked up.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're going to do another round
That's
of
great.
edits, and then we're going to get together again, go out to dinner and talk about it, and I'll give
Is
him the next round.
Because he's here in New York. I know he goes back to Italy sometimes, right?
He lives in Italy.
Oh, he lives
in Italy and he
Okay.
visits.
Okay. I have the other way around.
Yeah,
Cool.
he visits.
So teenager, is it memoir about your adolescence or
No,
what is it?
no.
It's
Teenager's a
completely
straight
different?
novel. It's about it's a love story. It's about a boy and a girl fall in love. He gets her pregnant. Right when she gets pregnant, he gets sent to juvenile detention because he's going to blow the school up.
Ooh.
And when he gets out, she's had an abortion. Her family has pushed for her to get an abortion. They were staunch Catholics. They left the church,
Yeah.
pushed for her to get an abortion all at the same time. And she's being sent on an airplane, coincidentally, to Italy. So he shows up right as she's about to be sent away forever, gone. And he's got in the opening page of the book, he has a gun in his pocket, and he goes to visit the mother and father to talk to them and try to resolve all of this.
Try to resolve.
And that's
With
where
a gun in your
it
pocket.
starts up.
Yeah.
It's a love story, and it's a pinball game all across America.
Damn, that sounds awesome.
Cops and robbers, and
Is it funny like your other stuff?
it's like my other stuff.
I was gonna say it reminds me of that. What was that book? The Slim. I'm from Electric Peak.
Yeah, this grew out of that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that was that's a Bonnie and Clyde-esque kind of thing.
Yeah. This grew out of that. I'm from Electric Peak. Never came out.
Yeah.
It
I know.
never
I've
came
got
out.
a rare.
You read it. You have a
Yeah, I read it when it came out briefly in the Never stage.
Yeah, it never got released.
I have a
Never got
copy.
released.
I have a pre-release.
You have a pre-release copy.
Which honestly, I should hold on to at this
You should
point,
hold
right?
on to
Yeah.
it. You should hold on to it.
Yeah.
I think there's about 100 or so of them floating around.
Cool.
It was all the ARCs that were sent out, and then the thing was never released.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that was 3 years ago.
And this grew out. This is like that sort of prompted.
I just kept working on it.
Yeah.
I kept working on it. It was supposed to come out. It got pulled.
Was that tough for you, or was it kind of just move on?
No, it's good.
It was all right.
I'm always working on something.
Yeah.
This stuff is it's not important anyway. Really,
Never ends
honestly.
anyway.
It's just the
just
book.
keep writing.
You keep writing, keep working on your projects, and who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You never know. You have this thing happening that's very important to you, and then it falls through. It could all fall through. It doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, it's
How
happened.
much
to me.
of Teenager was written on your phone?
Probably none of it.
Really?
I don't think I wrote any teenager on my phone. Really.
Are you writing those nervous breakdown essays on your phone?
Yeah, it depends.
I like the idea. I like thinking of you writing on your phone.
Well, I'm writing whatever.
And those are
whatever,
daily, right?
Whatever I'm around.
weekly, right?
Weekly? I thought they're weekly.
The good luck column is weekly.
That's weekly. Okay,
weekly.
okay.
I am writing them in Google Docs on my phone, on the laptop. I'm writing a lot of them on the typewriter, believe it or not.
Oh, good for you. Fuck yeah.
I've been trying to learn how to type correctly. I've always had like a claw, horrible, crooked hand thing that I've done on a keyboard.
Do you use all 10 fingers when you
Now
type?
I do.
You do now?
Yeah, I bought a typewriter. I learned how to use all 10 fingers to not.
You bought a typewriter to do that?
Yes.
Wow.
And it worked. To touch type, I'm to the point now where I can touch type, where I can look at a pice of paper and
Oh
just,
shit!
and type
Yeah,
it all out.
that's next level.
Because I need to be able to do that because I've been writing my drafts in longhand.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on. I don't want to keep jumping around the projects here.
No, do it.
But my new project I've been working on as I'm writing these
But this is like your
columns,
process. Like you're always working on like a million.
I'm just trying to get better at what I'm doing, and I think to myself as if I'm going to be a writer, I should be a great typist too. Because why not? It's like playing the piano, and you should know how to play the piano well.
Okay.
If I'm
As a
going,
piano player, I'm wondering what you mean by that.
Or
if you're just a shitty piano player and you're just going do do do,
Yeah.
or you could just start writing
you know.
longhand and publishing that way. Just scanning pages.
You can't
find them
though.
together.
You can't.
You can't.
But
you can't. You definitely can't.
But what Devin was talking about, I'll get into a little bit of that. What Devin was asking me about before was writing on the phone, which has always served me well because it's just something I can pick out of my pocket and I can immediately just dive into it.
Yeah.
And it's been fun.
Exactly.
And my willpower's been pretty great with not fucking around on my phone too much. But you know what it is? I mean, I'm the type of person, even if I'm reading a great novel on my phone, I don't really enjoy it as much. For some reason, it's just like the LED light glowing in my eyes.
I hear. I think
I'm
it's
not-
a ubiquitous opinion. Like I
Yeah.
have never met someone. I've met people who are like, yeah, I like my Kindle, but I've never met someone who's been like, wow, thank God I can read on a Kindle and not a regular book anymore. Because goddamn, that really sucked.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I've never heard anyone say that.
But
ever.
anyway, so what I was finding was, okay, so I'm spending all this time writing on my cell phone, which I still do, and I have to do just because I'm trying to get a lot of work done. And if I'm away from everything else and that's all I have, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, well, what are some ways I can do to get away from the digital stuff? And actually, I kind of wanted to do a test. I wanted to see how my writing changed, if it got worse, if it got better, if it stayed the same, if I did like a multi-retyping process for some things. So I started doing that with a novel I've been working on for a while now, for like the last year, where I write it out. I've been doing the first drafts of this particular novel on the typewriter. I type it out, and then I retype it on the laptop, you know. And
with the pages, right by you and stuff.
So I found actually that retyping everything, by the time I'm done with that second draft, everything is so much farther along.
Yeah.
Than as if I just sit there and piddle around with little drafts on the laptop.
So
I've done for years.
And that's helpful. That's what I like. That's what I tell people. That's the only way I can revise anything.
So you guys,
if I retype something,
that's what I was going to ask.
I can't look at something that's on a screen and then stare at it and then
figure out what to do.
It's the same is true. Like for like even my high school students, like we often ask them to like revise essays that they wrote. And they'll do you say, here's 30 minutes of class to revise this essay you wrote. And then you just look at them and they're all staring at their like little laptops. And then I'm like, okay. Then the next class I said, I printed out all their essays and I gave them to them. Yeah. And I said, open up a new document. Like open up a blank page. Yeah. Start typing what you wrote.
Yeah.
And then you're going to start realizing, I don't want it that way or whatever.
And part of that's because I think writing is like this weird, it's part muscle memory too. And you have to be doing the thing to start thinking that way.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to be, to me, it's like the act of typing will be like, oh, my brain's like, oh, you're writing.
Well, yeah.
Because like I can't stare at a
because
screen and be like, I'm writing now.
Your brain works a lot faster than you can type as you're trying to compose too. So
have you guys ever tried, and this might only work for like shorter stuff, but have you guys ever tried to not even, it's like you don't even print out that other thing. You literally try to just rewrite it.
Yeah. Well, that's how a lot of rewrites happen too.
Yeah, and I'll find that I write a lot of the same lines, and it's amazing. Like, because I always think of myself as my memory being shit, like, you know, for various reasons, probably brought upon myself, but like it really is amazing. I'll be like, wow, I just wrote that exact same thing.
I thought you were going to say, have you ever tried, and then insert the drug that started the thing. Was it like, have you ever tried?
Have you ever tried mescaline and writing a novel?
No, but I mean, the thing with all the different ways to revise or whatever, they're just silly. They're just silly and they all work. I had a different. They really do. They really do. It's like when you go to, when they say if you're overweight and you're trying to get back into exercising, anything works for the first 30 days.
Yeah.
Anything, whatever you do. If you're gonna
just
walk,
go
you're gonna lose some weight. If you want to climb stairs for 30 days, that's fine. If you want to go to actually do a full blown workout routine, whatever it is for the first 30 days, you're probably gonna lose some weight.
Yeah.
So usually with a writing project, you can kind of think about it in the same way, in the sense that you kind of need to pick something to do, and hopefully something that's just not stale. Something that's not stale for you, that makes it fun and strange and weird.
Yes.
Like I 2 years ago, I hand wrote out this was part of my problem with having to learn how to type. This is where it came from too. I decided, well, I've never written a novel longhand, or I haven't done it since I was like 13, really tried to write something longhand. So I did that, and then I had all these little notebooks, 4 of them, full with like a novel I thought was great. But now I had the problem where I'm never going to fucking type that thing up. Ever. So I've been trying to build myself up to learn how to retype these things, and just trying to get better at it. And this has all been practice to finally get to that project, which will be hopefully next year. I'll be doing that one. But
when did you write this thing longhand? When was it?
That was, I believe, 2 years ago. I wrote that one.
And so it's just
it's just sitting there because I had to learn. I had to build my skills up to be able to retype it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm approaching it. I'm trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn new things, and I'm trying to keep it fresh. And it's the same thing with reading. If you want to be a great writer, you got to be a great reader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to read great book. You have to read great books widely. You know, you keep to read all. Anyone will tell you. And if you do that, it really doesn't matter what you do for a living and how you make your money and who you are, who your mom and dad are. That's the great thing about writers, too. It doesn't matter if you're a rich kid or a poor kid, because being a rich kid's not going to make you good. Being a poor kid's not going to make you good. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You got to put the work in for a long time.
I still
10
imagine
years.
you just like writing. I will always, everything you write, I just imagine you writing it on your phone.
Well, I
over
certainly
the GW
am.
bridge, just like Paul Simon is playing.
I certainly am. I certainly am writing a lot on my phone. Still on my coffee breaks every day at work and my lunch breaks to try to.
Is there any new Paul Simon out?
Paul Simon, I have such a bad taste in my mouth about Paul Simon anymore, because last year I got back into Bob Dylan real big, and
Devin's what is that?
No, that's fine. I don't.
I read
reproach?
Bob Dylan's Chronicles, and I don't know. I was just getting more and more back into his music, listening to all his music, and I mean he's great. You know,
He is great.
But my problem with Paul Simon happened because I started reading. I fell down the wormhole of reading all the petty reasons why Paul Simon is jealous and hates Bob Dylan and feels in competition with him. And I'm like, how can you feel in competition with that guy?
Yeah.
Paul Simon, you're not even in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Like, Bob Dylan's like the spokesman of his generation. You're
You're
just
just Paul Simon.
Simon and Garfunkel, you know? Garfunkel's your competition, you know?
You're just not Garfunkel.
Yeah. I mean, he was married to Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher was like... Paul Simon was.
I didn't know Paul Simon was married to Carrie Fisher.
He was married to Carrie Fisher, and Carrie Fisher was like, Paul Simon, you're not even good enough to stay married to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know who he thinks he is.
She was
trying
thinking
to
about Bob
compete-
Dylan.
Yeah.
Trying to compete with the spokesman of his generation. He can't even stay married to, that great woman who was in Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this is the
Wow.
I think this is the longest diatribe
I hope he's
I've
listening
ever
to
heard
this
you
right
go.
now.
If you're out there, Paul Simon. My favorite Bob Dylan story, very quickly, is that I read this in a book about Woodstock, and once he came down from Woodstock to sit for Andy Warhol to do one of those Andy
portrait.
Yeah, those like very typical Andy Warhol portraits, and Bob Dylan didn't really like Andy Warhol, and Warhol never offered to pay him. And so Dylan sat for this portrait in like Chelsea.
Was that that was the thing? Like he would want to be paid. Isn't he making enough money?
Well, no, but like he just never Warhol. Like you should get paid for sitting for a portrait.
I guess, yeah.
Well,
I didn't know. I didn't know how it
But
worked. I
then
guess.
Bob Dylan just walked out and took one of Warhol's prints off the wall, and it was like this silver screened print of Elvis Presley that Warhol had done. And there's a picture of him. He like carries it over his head out the Chelsea studio, puts on like a station wagon that he had driven from Woodstock with, and puts on top. And there's a picture of him with his friend, and there's like a hand reaching over out of the driver's seat and one out of the passenger seat, like holding the Elvis print. Elvis is like looking up into the sky as they drive away, and they put it up in like their Woodstock home and used it as like a dartboard for a long time. It was like beer stained, and then the house that Dylan was living in, like there was an estate sale, and someone got it for like $2,000, and then ended up selling it like 30 years later
With the darts still in it?
Yeah, with like dart holes, like smoke, like ash rings, like for like $250,000, like for $500,000, for $250,000.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that
Amazing.
image of Dylan just driving away, like fuck you, Andy Warhol, and also like Elvis, just like looking up at the
I want to
sky.
know. I want to know like how he got that off the wall without anyone noticing.
I mean, it's also about Dylan. That was like at the height of his.
Yeah, you're not gonna stop him. You
Yeah.
just let him do his stupid thing. Wait, they're like, all right, we'll just screen print another one. Let the dwarf go.
Yeah, tiny man.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go back to Woodstock with your station wagon.
Yeah. They had like a stack of, 12,000 of those Elvis prints. They didn't care about the one that Bob Dylan was taking.
yeah.
You're Dylan-like, bud.
I like Bob Dylan. I think he's great. I like that he doesn't. I like that he just seems to have a really broken brain. He doesn't seem like a person. He seems like a cartoon character. I like that about him. You know what I mean? Like I love those. There was that cartoon a few years ago about Danzig. Danzig was a cartoon. Did you guys ever see that? I just love that idea. I always think of rock stars as cartoons. I think of writers that way too.
Especially after when the addiction memoirs started rolling out from like everyone.
Yeah.
That's when I started to really look at rock stars as cartoons. I was like, Jesus.
I fell down the David Bowie rabbit hole and I read all about, the Berlin years and the Station to Station. When he had cocaine psychosis and he befriended Iggy Pop, who was institutionalized.
He was a cartoon, yeah.
Cartoon characters.
I mean, Iggy Pop is actually never lived. He was just
I've seen Iggy Pop live. I got up on stage with him, and he is made of leather. It's unbelievable.
You know who's not a cartoon? Bruce fucking Springsteen. He's fucking on a scale of 1 to cartoon. On a scale of cartoon to 10, Springsteen's a 10.
Of cartoons or not?
He is a cartoon. He's very.
I think Dylan. I don't know.
You know what it is? It's always these. I feel like it's like the publicists turn you into like a character. Mm-hmm. How are we gonna sell Bruce Springsteen? He's a working man. He's a working man. He's out of record deals since he was like 17.
I know. He's never
What kind of work did he do?
Just sat on the roof of his jersey.
I mean, yes,
he carries his equipment from show to show.
Having a job is not something to celebrate either, though. I hear that a lot. People are with me all the time, like, "Oh my God, it's so cool you have a job." It's like everybody I know has a job. I don't know what you're talking. Every writer I know has a job.
Yeah.
It's just a silly thing to focus on.
Yeah,
okay,
Unknown Press. Let's do that.
Yeah, Unknown Press was.
Although I do just want to mention, I think it's so fucking cool that you're putting your book at Tyrant, though.
Oh, okay.
I think that's like, to me, for some reason, I have this idea that like Tyrant to me is like the rock star of literary presses.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really like them.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The thing with them was they just put out books I really wanted to read. A lot of presses I really like. They just let me down one by one. Where I read more of their books, and I'm like, oh, you don't really have quality control.
Yeah.
You don't have because it's not that one vision. Tyrant,
do you think
Tyrant is small enough, and the vision is so focused.
Yeah.
And
that's what we're trying to do.
Well,
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that I think people ask too much of publishers in the sense too, where publishers grow out of their original vision. In the end, a publisher should be one person or a group of people's vision for what they think.
I totally agree.
For what they think like art is.
Otherwise, the opinion's going to dilute what you get.
And just because that's a cool thing. And then if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't think. What I like about Tyrant is that you read a Tyrant book and it's like, this is a Tyrant.
Well, I think they're still on plan A.
Exactly.
They're still on plan A. Mm-hmm. My problem with a lot of other publishers, small press publishers, that I read enough of their books and I kind of see, this is where this press that I used to like went to plan B, and then this is plan C and D and E and F, and they just kept trying to change up what they were doing to try to fit with the times more, whatever it is. So
and that's the point that I think is important to clarify. It's not about doing the same type of book every time. That's not what you're saying. It's like sticking to a sort of like quality or style.
Maybe listening to the public too much.
But anyway, Unknown Press.
Yeah, Unknown Press is it's another interesting art project that I've been doing for a little while, and it started out. Probably, I'm going to say might be going on 10 years now, where I haven't put out very many books. I started out putting out anthologies where I was trying to read at certain lit mags that I like, good lit mags, but they wouldn't let me do it. So I thought, maybe I'll just start putting out my own books, my own anthologies. And that's what I did. I put out calls for submissions, and I got to meet a lot of different writers in the community and solicit some great people that I really admired. I admired their work, and just by doing that, I got to talk to them and learn from them. Putting together these anthologies was great because then I had I was on the line a little bit where now I have to. Okay, so I pick good writing, but I have to learn how to design and lay out, and I have to figure out how to, even in just doing the bare minimum of getting a book distributed and doing the right thing. Learning how to send rejections, which is the part that people forget about. You got to send out rejections to some of your good friends even.
Yeah, that sucks.
It doesn't suck. It's just what it is, you know.
I think it sucks.
It does not
I
suck.
want everyone to be
It
happy.
does not suck to reject. You know, if you can reject your brother, you should be able to reject anybody.
Yeah.
But so that's all it's been. It's been an art project, and it went from anthologies, and then I started putting out other people's books, and that was great. Poetry collections, short story collections, mostly. I think I've put out. I want to say I've only ever put out one novel. I think I only ever put out one novel. So it's mostly just been short story collections, poetry collections. Did some really interesting books that were just books I wanted to read, you know, and I was lucky enough just living in New York City where I'd go to a great reading series and I would just see a great writer who was halfway undiscovered or just starting out. And they were in the mood to do small press book. Mm-hmm. I could tell.
We just did that. We just saw someone. I saw someone a couple months ago, and I was like,
"Yeah,
you."
So it's not a big deal, you know. If someone's in the mood and understands the climate of doing a small press book, like you're going to make $1,000 on this book probably. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to sell, you know, as a small press writer working with somebody like me on the bottom rungs of it, you might make $1,000 or $2,000, or I hope you make more. Mm-hmm. I hope the book keeps selling for you and you do more. Generally, what I would do is I would do all the design, layout, editing, put the book out, promote it. I would give the writers 100% of everything. And so I wasn't taking a cut on any of the profits. So all these books I've put out.
Totally pro bono.
Yeah, it's all pro bono, and for most everybody, the money just went directly into their accounts. I think Devin is one of the sole examples of. I was trying at this point. I was trying to make the press a little bit bigger, and I was going to split it with him a little bit. He was the first experiment in this, and it didn't really work out with me getting the book out wider than I wanted to. So I wound up just giving him all the money. But now I get royalties, and I just give them all to Devin. Yeah, most everybody else they just get the money.
I'm filthy rich now.
Well, you are, you know, in your heart and soul.
Yeah.
$90 million.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been cool. It's ticking along. I mean, I don't think I've done a book in going on 2 years now.
It's been like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half. Robert Vaughn was the last one I did.
Yeah.
Robert Vaughn, Joanna Valente. This book was one of the last ones. Joanna.
Is that the Sexting Ghosts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how many more there are coming out. I know Monica Lewis is coming out, and then I don't have anything on the tables. But the project isn't over. You know, things just sometimes they work slow for a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it one of those things where you're not really just like making sure you get a book? Like you're kind of just like, oh, if I find the person, then I find the person.
Well, a couple of years ago, I did that thing again where I said, well, how can I focus more on the things I really, really enjoy doing and what I'm getting the most out of? And I thought maybe if I can just focus on my own work for a while, maybe it would help everybody in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it is doing that or not, but I've stopped helping other people the way I used to, and I've been focused on my own.
Just meaner.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's good or bad for me, but that's what I'm doing now, and it's been great.
The literary world is crumbling without your help.
I forget how Blood on Blood happened. Did you ask me?
I think you asked me. but
I think you asked me.
I think I asked you. Maybe we have to go back and investigate the. I remember I was so excited when we started talking about doing it. It was great because me and you were like acquaintances, but I think doing that book we became kind of friends because you came over to my house and we would sit at my house and do the book together. I've done that with a few people. Michael Gillen Maxwell. I did that with Michael Gillen Maxwell. I went up to his house, stayed up there for a few days. We did all the design and layout together. And he would just sit with me at the computer screen, move things around.
Ray does a large part of the design.
Ray does a large part of the design.
Yeah,
she does.
Ray's sitting right over here.
I put Ray, designed by Ray Valeri, in most of the books.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ray, do you have anything to say about this?
I do. I help sometimes.
Ray helps all the time.
Yeah.
Ray helps with everything.
We've corroborated
Yeah.
We love Ray.
Bud's statement.
Are your nervous breakdown essays going to become? Are they part of something larger? Are they going?
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're part of something larger.
I imagine that's going to be called like 52, and it's gonna,
Yeah.
So are you going to make a book or what?
Well, it's a novel. What you're reading. You're reading is it's happening live. It's the first draft of a novel called Good Luck.
Yeah, which is a really cool idea.
Because the essays you're reading, a lot of them are fictional essays.
That hurts because they're so.
Well, you know what it is.
They come from you. They're.
But like I'm saying, some of what you're reading is memoir.
Yeah, well, like F-250 is a novel.
Yeah, some of what you're reading is nonfiction. But then you'll get to certain ones where it's clearly not true.
Yeah.
Like
where can people find this? Just because
the
people that are going to be listening.
Yeah, the best way to find my work, I really am deleting my website.
How come?
Because it's too much trouble to keep up with everything. There's too much stuff.
I see.
So it's better just to have one page somewhere with just a catch-all of links. My best short stories, my best poems that are published. Links to my novel. So there's been this thing called neutral spaces. So if you go to my Twitter page, this is probably the best place. Just the link on my Twitter page, neutral spaces. It's in it's in my bio, and you click on that, and that's got everything. It's just a catch-all page, and that's the best place to find the Good Luck series. So I think we're up to the 25th one right now.
Crazy.
And yeah, so I mean,
And was that your idea or Joey's idea?
that was Joey's idea. Joey asked me if I'd mind writing something every week.
Who's Joey?
Joey Grantham. He's the editor of Nervous Breakdown right now. He's the head editor of Nervous Breakdown, but he also is the co-editor of Disorder Press, which is one of the, in my opinion, top dog small presses out there. It's like Wave Books, Tyrant Books, Disorder Press, New York Review of Books, if you want to call them small press. But Joey was just like, hey, he took on as editor, and he's been reading submissions. He kind of got put on as editor to please make something happen at that website because it's been dead for so long.
He's been doing really cool things.
Yeah, he's been doing some great things. So he asked me to put something up there every week, write a column every week, because he found out about my writing from when I used to do a column every 2 weeks at Real Pants, and that's what became my memoir Work, which Joey wound up actually being the editor of Work. So he's just integral working with me as an editor. So he put the fire under me a little to write these weekly pieces, and it's been cool because I've been really working hard on these things. But I send them to him, and he copy edits them on Tuesday night. Tuesday night he copy edits it, and it goes up on Thursday morning. And the only rule we have is we can't miss a Thursday. It has to go up sometime on Thursday. Nobody said we had to do this, but it's happening, and it's been really great.
Interesting.
There may be 52 of them. There may be more. I started writing them in because I have some of them that are -1, -2, -3.
Right.
So who knows what we're really going to wind up with, but at least 52.
So for a lot of this shit that like comes up online, so like for example, you had Work up online before it became Work. How much of it is still like up there?
Well, who knows? Because things disappear all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just the other day I was at a reading and I decided I was going to read one of my best pieces to read at a reading. It's Reviews of My Corner Bodega. Yeah. So I go to the reading and I'm like, I'm going to read this. I was in New Orleans.
Don't tell me you looked it up on your phone and it wasn't there.
It's gone. And I was like, oh, fuck. So that's another thing though I can send out
where was that published?
Electric Cereal, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
So it's gone from there.
Are they done? Or
I don't know. I'm
what?
not sure.
Huh.
I don't know what to deal with anybody.
The reason I asked is just because, like, people publishing essays and stuff online, and like, maybe you get enough and you want to turn it into a book or something.
Yeah.
It's just a weird kind of process where it's out there for people to read, or like, how do you know?
I think it's cool. I think it's really cool to do a personal blog, which is gone from the public consensus, as writers think that like their shit needs to be polished and perfect. I think it's a great idea as a writer to have your messy first drafts as you work your thoughts out in public, as close to having to happen in real time as possible.
I see. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, you can read it later and judge. So this person's not a master. No one's really very few examples. So it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter.
And no one holds that shit in their head for that long.
Yeah.
I think people think too highly of the fact that people are reading them.
And it's funny, as much of
like,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the other thing. It's like, so Good Luck Now is on episode 25, and it is approaching 90,000 words. No no one's reading this thing anymore, or they'll click on a random one, because I
I
noticed.
haven't read all of them. I've read maybe 6, 7.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it should be. I'm every week I'm fighting to write something that I want to recapture people.
The butterfly one is good.
Sometimes I think I'm trying to recapture the attention of people who maybe have lost interest in this thing, because it's like, hey, what are they going to do? They're going to keep reading. They're going to read 90,000 words. No, what I think is this thing is going to be. It's going to be a 600-page book a novel that's you sit down with it on a winter day and you read some of it, and that's what it is. You're not going to sit at the computer and read this whole thing. And
sure.
And if you do, I can point you to some better things to read online.
You should have that embedded, like in the essay. It's like,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
finish this far, please stop.
Click
Redirect
this
over
link.
here.
This will take you somewhere great.
Okay, that's it for today's episode. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and review on whichever platform you're listening. You can get in touch with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Animal Riot Press, or through our website, animalriotpress.com. This has been the 19th episode of the Animal Riot Podcast with your host, Brian Birnbaum, and featuring Bud Smith and Devin Kelly. Transcripts for our deaf and hard of hearing animals are provided by Jonathan Kay, and we are produced by me, Katie Rainey. See ya later, you filthy animals.
Click, word, yes sir, it's the burn. Bombing on y'all and getting gully as a fern. I don't know much about